There is not a spectator in Donington Park who is not eagerly awaiting the start of this 750cc H.E.A.T Supercup, and it's to be run over 15 laps, the usual circuit, down the straight towards Redgate, round the very fast 90-mile-an-hour turn, down to Craner Curve, sweeping down through there, up into sixth gear, about 140 miles an hour on these big bikes to the old hairpin. 100 miles an hour, possibly round the old hairpin, up through the gearbox again, round Starkey's to McLean's. Third gear, 90 miles an hour. Fourth gear, up the hill to Coppice. Fourth gear round Coppice, 120 on the exit. Fifth, sixth, fastest part of the circuit, 150 here down towards the S's, braking down. Second gear, 50 through the S's, down the hill to the Melbourne hairpin. Adverse camber, very tricky, feed the power in slowly, up the hill towards Goddard's to complete the lap. They have 15 of them, and the sensation is that the championship leader, Jamie Whittam, is on the second row. He's been beaten to the pip, and have a look at the front row now. And fourth fastest qualifier here on a one-off, Terry Reimer, the man you saw deliver some fantastic antics last year on the Norton. Reimer this year out on Yamaha. Alongside Terry Reimer, 9 times TT winner Steve Hislop, who was one of the men to beat Jamie Whittam this year and hopes to repeat that here. It was in fact at Donington Park, so who knows. Rob McElnay, runner-up in last year's championship, former champion. Jamie Whittam's teammate has again relegated him to the second row, and a stunning qualifying pole position for Carl Fogarty, triple F1 world champion, world endurance champion, and currently 5th in the World Superbike Series. Carl Fogarty riding number 44 on a very rapid, I have to say, and beautifully sounding Ducati. Fogarty then on pole position. Jamie Whittam, 5th fastest, is on the second row, and he leads the series, having had a stunning double at Alton Park. Double win, 40 points in his pocket. An interesting entry, the Briton, all the way from New Zealand, a hand-built, home-built machine with a very interesting carbon fibre suspension setup. That spring under the engine there is actually the rear suspension, linked by a rod under the crankcase, ridden by 23-year-old New Zealander Sean Harris. Very quick in a straight line. It's proving to be a bit of an animal, I think, on the twists and turns of Donington Park, but we wish Sean Harris luck. He really is living out of the back of a van here in Europe. Such is his degree of dedication. 15 laps then, the distance. 37.5 miles. Watch for Carl Fogarty, pole position man. Lights go to green, the 750s are all the way. The TT Superbike H.E.A.T Supercup International is go. Hislop had a flying start. Round the outside went McElnay. There was a Kawasaki there too. All safely around Redgate, and it was Rob McElnay. Fogarty is in second place, number 44. Down through Craner Curves. 140 miles an hour, going down to fourth gear here at the old hairpin. Just about 100 on these big bikes. And this time, and someone's on the grass in a big way, and that looks as though, no, I thought it was the Duckham's Norton for a moment, but it's not. Just a bit shaken, rider okay. Counting his blessings there, but that was a mighty tumble. Fogarty in second, but Rob McElnay, who incidentally runs the Yamaha race school here at Donington, so probably knows this circuit inside out, is well, he's away. Roger, he's up there, 7-8 lengths already in front. Just have a look at this.
What actually happened was the rider touched somebody else. He's lost control, gone up the ripple strips, and has actually lost control completely. He's up and perfectly okay, so that's great.
Rider there walking away. The race goes on, however. One lap yet to be completed for Rob McElnay, who got away from Carl Fogarty, who's now in second place. I can see Whittam in there scrapping as well. Whittam was having a look at the inside for third place. Fogarty in second. Then it's Terry Reimer, number 4. Jamie Whittam, number 6, is in fourth and looking good. Big Rob McElnay, the burly Humbersider, away down the straight at the end of lap 1. McElnay leads, then it's Fogarty. Whittam is having a look at third place. I can hear the bellow of the Ducati. Number 11 is Steve Hislop looking at the inside. Number 17 behind Hislop is Ray Stringer. There's Stringer. Whittam, number 6. On his way now. There is Hislop, number 11. We're now riding with Jamie Whittam. Roger, this is good stuff.
This is absolutely fabulous stuff. You can see Fogarty taking a glimpse over his shoulder then. There's McElnay now back with the leader. Bike number 2, Rob McElnay, surprisingly stretched an advantage. I think most people thought Fogarty was going to have this race all his own way. It is early stages, it's lap 2 out of 15 as the caption suggests, but it's McElnay, Fogarty, Whittam, Reimer, Hislop and Stringer. But Whittam's really challenging Fogarty now, and Fogarty's really trying hard. Whittam's challenging up the inside in the background there. McElnay flicks into the S's through this second gear. Another faller there. Rider perfectly okay. Again at the same spot, so that's the old hairpin. And there's one of the Team Green riders, and that's Jamie Patterson down. So one of the Kawasaki riders there, James Patterson, down, so that's the end of his race.
Well, the man walking across, it looked as though it might have been Alex Buckingham, but I'm not going to tempt fate. I'll have to see whether he comes round next time. McElnay then being caught by Carl Fogarty, and he is very much the Ducati filling in the Yamaha sandwich, because these teammates, numbers 6 and 2 we're talking about, McElnay and Jamie Whittam, number 6, really have something to prove. They want to show that Carl Fogarty isn't going to walk away with this event. He got pole position. The two men who fell, numbers 34 and 41, that was Jamie Patterson, Indeed, and Simon Watson from Saffron Walden. So Wally Watson, as he chooses to be known, is out of this race, but as you saw for yourselves, they were both up on their feet. James Whittam piling on the coals now in 3rd place, number 6. Now just watch this man's style, the way he leans off, he hangs off the bike with his knee on the tarmac, just to transfer as much weight as he can off the bike to keep the bike upright. And he really is aggressive, particularly, and I hope we get to see him at the Melbourne hairpin. He is particularly vivid there, where he really hangs off it. And Whittam's on the inside, he's beautifully placed to dart up the inside of Carl Fogarty at the S's, but Fogarty said no. Through the chicane, McElnay, Fogarty on the Ducati, bellowing away down towards the hairpin. And just watch race leader now, McElnay, into here, but watch Whittam in 3rd. Just watch his style round here, right off the bike, leaning into the corner to get round, squeezing as much out of the Yamaha as he can. He really is determined.
Well, Fogarty realises now that James Whittam is close behind him, and it's up to Fogarty now to exert pressure on Rob McElnay, leading on bike number 2. If only James Whittam could have done that fastest lap that we saw flashed up a while ago, 36.22, 44 I think in practice, then that would have put him 2nd on the grid. But Fogarty goes through into the lead. McElnay tries again at the inside, but that's now exerted Fogarty to where he wanted to be, and that's in the front of this race. Whittam's now got to pass Rob McElnay if Whittam's got any answer to Fogarty's move, but as I suggested, Fogarty really does need to get his skates on, because McElnay and Whittam are definitely not hanging around.
Fogarty and the 2 Yamaha teammates then are really locked in this one. Carl Fogarty's not getting away the way he needs to. Jamie Whittam, I think, is going to have to pull rank on Rob McElnay. He is, after all, the series leader after one round with that double win at Alton Park. So he has 40 points. The points in this Super Cup series, and there are 2 750cc races in each round. The points are 20 for the win, 17, and up into 2nd place as I speak goes Whittam. And Whittam is deadly serious, and it's weaving all over going in under braking. That was really protesting there. But Whittam, undeterred, kept it screwed down all the way, and he's in pursuit. Just look at him close on the brakes. He really is a demon on the brakes into the hairpin. Jamie Whittam, number 6, on the tail end of Carl Fogarty with the ultra-quick factory Ducati. And this is going to be great stuff at Goddard's.
Jamie Whittam then entering the S's. I don't quite believe how he got away with that, but he kept the front brake hard on and lent the bike over. The rear wheel was light, it snaked all over the track, and he managed to get away with it, but he won't get away with it, I don't feel, riding like that for the rest of the race. But this seems to be Jamie Whittam's style. He's got the bike over at an incredible angle there as he chases Fogarty, and if only he could have done this in practice, he would have been on the front row of the grid. But the series leader, he does need to, and that's a faller. That's Terry Reimer.
That's Terry Reimer away off the circuit. Number 4, Terry Reimer, the rider perfectly well. He'll be a bit disenchanted, but there are more important things on Terry Reimer's calendar. He's lying 9th in the World Superbike at the moment, so he doesn't want to jeopardize position in the world rankings. After all, that's what he's paid to do. The home Super Cup series very much a one-off outing for him, and if he's free to do any more of the others, then I suspect he will. Jim Moody on the factory Norton is up from 11th to 7th place, and an interesting point as Terry Reimer crosses the circuit, an interesting point that Roger Burnett made to me before the race started. Jim Moody's qualifying time on the Norton was the fastest a Norton has ever been around Donington Park, and that includes Ron Haslam, that includes Steve Spray, that includes Trevor Nation. So Jim Moody is clearly very much on the pace, but it illustrates just how quickly, Roger, everyone else is going.
Absolutely. The main difference that I can suggest in the increase in the lap times, there's got to be a number of things. Tyres has to be one of them. But James Fogarty has a big moment then, and that could let James Whittam through as they run down towards Redgate Corner, but Fogarty's managed to get enough power out of the Ducati to keep ahead of Whittam. Whittam and McElnay seems to be dropping back a little bit. They're running carbon brakes, which could be a big improvement. I know that Terry Reimer wasn't running them on his Yamaha, and McElnay and Whittam are, so. But it looks like now this race is all between Fogarty and Whittam.
I'm not discounting Steve Hislop, number 11, who's less than 4 seconds off the leader, and Hislop is the only man to have beaten Jamie Whittam this season, and he did it here at Donington Park. James Whittam, number 6, has won 6 races from 8 major national starts, and that's an impressive tally, and he's looking as though he wants desperately to make it. Let me get me sums right. So, and another tricky moment for Carl Fogarty there. He's looking as though he wants to make it 7 wins from 9 starts. Fogarty almost lost a foot off the peg there, and Whittam is going hard on the inside now. We are on bike with Jamie Whittam at the S's on the tail end of the race leader, Carl Fogarty, flicking it through. This is serious stuff. Up through the gearbox, 3rd, 4th gear, up to 120 here, and then down the gearbox, hard on the brakes. Down to 2nd, there he goes down. 2nd gear now, 50 miles an hour. The temptation is to get the power on too soon, the back would go, but no, 3rd, we're in 4th, up towards Goddard's, and we go down 2 again. We don't, we go down 1, so he's round Goddard's in 3rd. Fogarty again, not looking very safe.
I wouldn't say not looking very safe, he's having some sort of difficulty with the rear tyre. It could be that it's on the left-hand turns, that it's not worn. He may be using a really hard tyre that's he's finding it difficult to get to work on the left-hand side, but he is having difficulty. But Fogarty's very aggressive with the throttle. He doesn't ease the throttle open, Fogarty. He snaps it open. Whatever the bike does, he controls it. That's his riding style. That's what's made him a 4 times world champion and current Kawasaki endurance champion. But really, Whittam has really impressed me in this race, the way he's managing to keep with him.
The number 25 Norton is up to 6th. I'll give you the progress. There he is. Look, Jim Moody, number 25 on the Norton, is up to 6th place. So picking up places now, 11 seconds, it's true, off the leaders, but nevertheless in 6th place. So Brian Crichton, team boss, and indeed Colin Seeley won't be disappointed with that performance, but it's all happening at the front. Hislop is now closing. Hislop has got that gap down to 3.5 seconds. Steve Hislop, the 4th man in your picture, is coming up to play with the rest of the big boys at the front of the race. Fogarty's Ducati bellowing out of the turn, and Jamie Whittam doing all he knows.
Let's see what we can see from Whittam's bike, and there's Fogarty. Whittam lost ground breaking into the S's, he overcooked it. Fogarty came across the front wheel, but up to 4th, back down 2 gears to 2nd, into Goddard's. You can see how James Whittam closes on the brakes as he enters the corner, but Fogarty leaves him coming out the corner, so the power of that Ducati exiting the turn is quite phenomenal as they go down over the start and finish line towards Redgate. It's down to 3rd gear and over 90 miles an hour. Trying to get the power down, the back wheel trying to spin away, and Whittam goes off after Fogarty, heading down Craner curves. Fantastic line up by Fogarty.
And number 48, the faller there. Number 48 is Neil Gray from Kempston in Bedfordshire, off the Kawasaki. A few bits of fiberglass missing from the bike, but the rider appears to be okay. Number 29 going through your picture there, Dominique Bovincini, now a Frenchman. This is an international event now, and Bovincini qualified right down in the running order. Fogarty still leads, number 44, still with him is Jamie Whittam, but Steve Hislop is getting closer. Steve Hislop very much in the picture now. The first two up on the fastest part of the circuit, and there is an almighty tussle going on between McElnay and Hislop for third and fourth place. This is the battle for the lead through the S's. Third and fourth men, just look out closely, and Hislop's up to third. Steve Hislop up to third, having got past Rob McElnay, number 2. He now has clear tarmac ahead of him, and the man in front of him will be this man, number 6, Jamie Whittam, and of course ultimately the race leader, 44, Carl Fogarty. And Hislop and Fogarty, arch rivals, I think, as they lap the Frenchman. The Frenchman picks himself up, and now through they go, riding now with Jamie Whittam. Jamie Whittam hard behind Carl Fogarty, down towards Redgate.
Yeah, this is 90 miles an hour, closes on Fogarty, and Fogarty heels the bike over, squirts the power down and gets out of the corner very, very well. Look at him fly away as they go down Craner curves. And that's the long distance view that we see from it. That's the visual gap between Fogarty and Whittam, and again a new lap record, and that's 1 minute 36.36 to Whittam, and that's a lap record, and that's phenomenal.
Well, just to bring you up to speed with Hislop's progress, frankly it isn't progress, because he's now 4 seconds off the leaders. It would appear then that Fogarty and James Whittam, far from tripping each other up, are getting quicker and quicker and quicker. That's underscored, if you like, by the fact that Whittam had that quickest lap. The top 6, Moody is still there on the Norton. Ray Stringer, Rob McElnay, Hislop, Whittam and Fogarty we are looking at now. Tail ender, Fogarty. Whittam goes through, and here is Steve Hislop through the S's. And he has opened up now a tremendous gap over the 4th place man, Rob McElnay. This still the battle for first and second. Pole position man, number 44, Carl Fogarty from Blackburn, 5th in the World Superbike Series after taking a double win in Spain. Leads here at Donington Park in the first of 2 750cc races this afternoon.
2 arch rivals, these two, both very aggressive, both dynamic riders, and very good crowd entertainers indeed. Whittam doesn't mind what the bike does. If it goes out of shape, he just controls it. Fogarty just stares at everyone. He's not frightened of anyone. In fact, he is the wild card ride for a 500 Grand Prix ride this year, August here. And this is interesting because Fogarty's got by a slow rider, but he's also pushed him very wide. Whittam's got through, so that was quite safe. No advantage there for Fogarty, which of course you can gain an advantage passing a slower rider under those circumstances. But going back to what I was saying about the Grand Prix, Fogarty, a wild card rider. I wouldn't put Fogarty out of the first 3 in the British Motorcycle Grand Prix, given a fair chance and a decent bike.
Well, you've just triggered me into action, Roger, because I was about to say that the bike that he's getting is a factory Cagiva, and he's in the Grand Prix at the specific request of the Castiglione brothers, who own Cagiva and the entire Ducati concern. So they are providing a true factory machine for Carl Fogarty in the 500cc Grand Prix here at Donington. The other wild card, and for the benefit of the viewers, wild card means the option that the organisers have to put in a home rider. They can put in a maximum of 2 in each class. And the other 500cc rider, it's been confirmed today, is James Hayden, and that is sensational. He has been given Ron Haslam's place in the 500 race and will indeed race the Rock Yamaha from the Serge Rosset French team. So James Hayden now needs to get some serious practice in on a 500 before D-Day at Donington, because he then has the opportunity to show the British fans and the British viewers just what sort of stuff he's made of.
I'd have to say that it looks to me like Fogarty has actually seen Whittam off now. Although the gap's only 0.8 of a second, Fogarty looks very confident. His bike's very stable under braking, and the earlier problems that he had with the rear tyre and the rear end of the bike sliding about seem to have been cured. It's almost like he's been waiting for the tyre to come into play before he's actually squirting it on and trying to pull a gap between himself and Whittam. Having said that, Whittam is a tough competitor and he'll want to win. He doesn't know anything but winning, and he'll try all that he knows. So I think as this race is coming to a climax, we've got 4 laps to go, we're in for some fireworks.
Race leader, Carl Fogarty on the Ducati, second place, James Whitham on the Yamaha. In third place, Steve Hislop on the very rapid RVF 750 Honda. Fourth place, McElnay, and a sensational fifth now for Jim Moody, double TT winner. The 400 and the 600cc Supersports TT went to Jim Moody this year in the Isle of Man, and he's on the crest of a wave at the moment. And he's turning his talents now to the short circuits. He's in fifth place in this race on the Crichton Norton, and 16 seconds off the lead, I will admit, but nevertheless the Norton is in there fighting. Jamie Whitham, then number 6, is in there fighting as well, nearly on the curbstones, and Hislop now is 5 seconds off the leading rider's time. It doesn't look like it because the cameras foreshorten the angle, but I can assure you the computer here telling us that Steve Hislop in third place is over 5 seconds adrift, and that's a mountain to climb, I think.
Yeah, I think the gap now is 1.27 seconds, and as I thought, I think Carl Fogarty's got the job weighed up now. He's putting in consistent 1 minute 36 lap times. Jamie Whitham's times have dropped slightly, and I think the race is over as we've seen a fantastic tussle for the lead. I think the Motocinelli team of Fogarty has seemed to have got it all together and planned things to perfection.
Before this race got underway, we were watching Carl Fogarty as a spectator of one of the earlier races, and he was leaning over the pit rail just like any other motorcyclist. He was very relaxed, very calm, and I think in his own style he'll just put this down as another day in the office, really. He's a very calm, unflappable competitor, very aggressive, as Roger Burnett said, very hard, takes no prisoners, and looking very polished here. And I think he's sorted Jamie Whitham out, shown him really what the Ducati was made of and what Carl Fogarty was made of, and James Whitham appears to have no answer. I might be proved wrong in the closing stages, but it looks to me as though the number 44 Ducati, and you can hear it bellowing away down the start-finish straight now, is really under control. Carl Fogarty hard on the brake, down through the gearbox, pitching into here at about 90 miles an hour, heeling it over, up through the gearbox again. The Ducati with long legs, and by that I mean it's got lots of torque. It really pulls. Much smoother power delivery, much more controllable power delivery than the Pichia four-cylinder machines. And Fogarty, who just lifts his knee over the curb there to avoid bashing his kneecap ever so calmly, is on his way to a 20-point maximum, I think, here in race 1 of the 750cc H.E.A.T Super Cup Donington. It's pattering there. There's either a rough bit of the circuit there, or the Ducati is not altogether set up suspension-wise.
Well, it's not for me to say, but I would say that the Ducati isn't set up perfectly suspension-wise. Carl doesn't, and is renowned, and he wouldn't mind me saying this, is renowned for not having too much experience when it comes to settings on the machine. And therefore I would say that they have a little bit of work to do to improve on the handling, but I think that again is a credit to Carl's riding ability when he can just ride whatever the bike seems to be doing. And James Whitham's bike seems to be well set up, although James Whitham runs his bike very soft at the rear end, the suspension that is, which makes it appear that it's sliding a lot, which in turn works the tyre very hard.
Now, Whitham and Hislop, though Hislop has got a formidable task ahead of him to close the gap between himself and the second place man. The race leader appears to have everything firmly under control. I won't say the excitement has gone out of this race, because it hasn't, but Carl Fogarty has certainly settled in to a rhythm now, which tells me that he's dominating the proceedings, firmly in the driving seat. The Ducati looking good, sounding good. Fogarty is moving very fluidly into the turns, and short of mechanical problems, I can't really see anything denying Carl Fogarty the win.
Having said that, the distance is there and it's visual, and it in fact has closed. The gap's closed. Whitham's closed it by a quarter of a second on that last lap. It's now down to 1.04 seconds, and it may be that James Whitham wanted to lull Fogarty into a sense of false security, let him feel that he'd got the measure of him, and he's going to snap back at him in these last 2 laps.
Tail ender ahead of them, number 49 is Neville Lewandon, so he's about to be passed by them. I'm also interested to see when we catch up with the Briton, the number 53 ridden by Sean Harris, because he's well down the order. So Nev Lewandon, number 49, is being passed. Well, the Briton then, I've just been reliably informed, has retired, so he's toured into the pits. Tail enders then, as they approach the signal for the last lap, over the line again goes Fogarty. 2.5 miles of the Donington circuit to do between Fogarty, the checkered flag, and a pocket full of money, and that is exactly £650 for the win. Small beer by any comparison, but he'll be pleased with 20 points.
I think what Fogarty will be most pleased about is the fact that he's riding in an international series and he's been able to come home to a domestic championship round and exert his authority as probably Britain's #1 rider. I think that's what he'll be most pleased about. I don't think the points will particularly matter to him. I don't think the money will be the first consideration that he has. The fact is that he's come home and he's beaten the established riders in the UK that have been doing the business during this 1993 season.
Tailenders ahead again of Carl Fogarty. Number 18 is Nigel Nottingham from Nantwich in Cheshire, so he's just been drafted into the breeze as they go into the S's, and the 32 runner there is Alexander Kvintas from Alveston. Fogarty then on his way. He's shaken Jamie Whittam off now. Hislop still in third, and Hislop now has dropped down the order. He's settled for third, unable to repeat his defeat of James Whittam, as he did here in the British Championship round in May. Fogarty sitting up, shaking his head, thinking to himself, well, that was a super race, but I'm pleased with the result, and of course he should be. The checkered flag's in sight. The Ducati bellows down the straight. Carl Fogarty gets the win. The gap then almost 2 seconds at the end of the race between himself and Jamie Whittam, and he is thrilled with that. Carl Fogarty then the winner on the Ducati. A great 750cc race. Confirmation there that Fogarty took the win from James Whittam, Steve Hislop, Rob McElnay. A creditable performance for the Norton man Moody, and Ray Stringer pipped to the post for 5th.